So you just got a guitar for Christmas and you're ready for guitar lessons. So what are the things that you should learn first? So this is what I go over with my students in their very first guitar lesson. Now I know this is gonna be a little bit different because you're there, I'm here, there's a camera in between us. It's a little bit different, so there's some things that I would normally do that I'm gonna have you do. But before we dive into what we're going to play on the guitar today, I want to point out one big thing. One thing that a lot of people get wrong when they go to their very first guitar lesson, and a lot of teachers do this because they think that the value of their lessons is in how much information they give, right? So a lot of students will think, well, I didn't learn a lot of stuff, so that wasn't very good. And a lot of teachers who don't feel very good about their teaching ability will think, I have to teach lots of different stuff, and that's what makes my lesson good. The more stuff, the better the lesson. I take a totally different approach from that. My number one goal in anybody's first guitar lesson is to prove to them first that they can play guitar and that they can have fun and it can be easy right off the bat, because inherently, the traditional approach to learning guitar is actually quite difficult, especially if you start learning open chords. I mean, think about all the coordination that it takes for your fingers to learn open chords. Those aren't very easy, and I want new students, when they sit down with me, to feel like this is easy. I can do this. This is a lot of fun. And so that's why I do things differently in my lesson. So first things first, you're gonna have to tune your guitar down to drop D. So I'm going to assume that you have a tuner, hopefully a chromatic tuner that tells you whatever note it is that you're playing whenever you play it. I like D'Addario's NS Micro Tuner. It has a great LED display. It just clips onto your headstock and you look at it behind your headstock, so it doesn't look like your guitar has a giant wart on your headstock. So if you don't have one, I'll put the link for one of those down in the description. But when it comes to tuning guitar, the first thing that you're gonna have to do, normally in a first lesson, I would just take their guitar and do this for them, right? So if you and I were sitting in person right now, I would just ask you for your guitar and I would tune it up for you, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. Rather than tuning to standard guitar tuning, we're going to tune to drop D tuning. Now, here's the trick. Here's how we're going to tune. In music, there are 12 notes. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then what we have are called accidentals, which can go by two names. They can have a sharp name like C sharp, or they can have a flat name like D flat. Sharp in music means higher, and the symbol for it looks like a hashtag, but it's not. And flat in music means lower. So it's kind of a note between two other notes. So between C and D, we would have C sharp or D flat. Between D and E, we'd have D sharp or E flat. And it's like that, and there's 5 of those different notes. Now here's what you need to know. Each one of your strings on the guitar, all 6 of your strings, are tuned to one of those 12 notes. And so let's start with your first string, which is your thinnest string, your highest sounding string. That note needs to be tuned to an E. So if you are not tuned, you can use my guitar right now and tune to this. That is the E note that you need to tune to. Now when you're over here and you're turning the knob, make sure that you follow the string up to the proper tuning peg and turn the right thing. Now which direction is it? I want you to use your ears to turn it and hear if you hear the sound going up or down, okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to be able to tune to this E right here, and you can use that if you don't have a tuner. Now remember though, when you are turning these tuning knobs, no matter what string you're on, don't turn it without hearing the note, right? So don't just turn it. You have to listen to the note as you tune, and then make very small, slow motions. Don't make big, fast jumps. Just slow, small motions. It's geared so that if you turn it far, it'll jump really far. So your first string is E, your second string is B. So this is your B string for your second string. And then your third string is tuned to G. And I should note, this is the same on acoustic guitar or electric guitar. Even though I'm playing electric, it's exactly the same. And you can do this on acoustic guitar, exactly what we're going to do today too. I do this with students on acoustic or electric. It doesn't matter. Your fourth string is D. So you want to tune your fourth string to this D note. And then your fifth string is A. And then your sixth string, your lowest string, is normally tuned to an E in standard tuning. But what I do in the first lesson is I actually tune that string down to a D note. And the reason why I do that is because my goal for your first lesson is for you to have fun and feel like you can play guitar. And so my whole thing is I want you to feel like a rock star. Now, tuning to drop D is going to allow us to make that happen a whole lot easier. We're going to have a whole lot more fun. So once you're tuned down to drop D, this is your low D string that you're going to tune down to. So tune your sixth string to this. And what you can do, the little sentence that I use for students to remember all six strings is starting on the first string, Easter bunnies get dirty after dinner for drop D. If it's standard tuning, we say Easter. Easter bunnies get dirty after Easter. But for drop D tuning, we say Easter bunnies get dirty after dinner. Now here's the cool thing about drop D. Once you are in drop D tuning, what I want you to do is I want you to strum your sixth string, your fifth string, and your fourth string all together. I just want you to strum through those three strings. So to do that, stop your pick on your third string and let it just rest there. See how it's just resting? But when you strum through those, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Like, that sounds like awesome. So here's what I want you to do now. I want you to take those three strings and I want you to play that. And I'm just touching my other strings lightly with this hand so that they don't sound out. And I want you to strum those three low strings 8 times like this. Now, that is a power chord. Now, in drop D, we can play these really awesome sounding power chords that sound incredible, and they make it so that you can play tons of songs right away. And here's the beautiful thing about it. It only takes one finger, right? Pretty awesome, right? One finger and you can play these power chords, and you can use your first finger, you can use your second finger, you can use your third finger. If you're crazy, you can use your pinky, and you can also stack fingers. So check this out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my first finger and I'm gonna put it on the 7th fret. So on your guitar, these spaces along your fretboard are called frets. So we have the nut, which is up here, which is bone or plastic or whatever. And then this space here is called your first fret, your second fret, your third fret, your fourth, your fifth, your sixth. All you have to do is count up the neck to find the proper fret. So here, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what I want you to do is to bring your first finger around the guitar like this, and you're gonna lay it flat across your 6th string, your 5th string, and your 4th string. And I want you to be careful about hitting other strings. I'm letting my finger just lightly touch the other strings so that they don't sound out. Sometimes that's really hard in the beginning, I get it. Now, if all 3 strings is too hard, then just press down on your 6th string and your 5th string. And if that's too hard, just do your 6th string, and that'll sound cool too, okay? But here's the thing, I'm using my first finger to do that, but I get a lot of people's first finger aren't as strong as mine because I've been playing guitar for years, right? So what you can do is take your second finger and lay it down on top of that first finger to help press down with that. And that will make it easier to press down because now you've got the leverage from your first finger and your second finger pressing down. Now, I like to just use my second finger a lot of the time. So that means I just use my second finger and I lay it across all 3 strings, right? Or you could use your third finger too. Whatever works, really. Whatever is gonna be easier for you. You gotta figure out what's gonna work for you and make it easy. But I've had some people come in and they can't do all 3 strings. So we do 2 strings or we do 1 string, whatever works, okay? Now, once you've got your 7th fret pressed down, what I want you to do is I want you to strum that 8 times. Sounds cool, right? So let's go back to playing open. We're gonna play our open 3 string, so no fingers. And what you can do, you can leave your hand down by your 7th fret, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna play open, and then you're gonna put your finger down on 7. And so if you keep it pretty close and just open up your hand like this, that's gonna make your life easier, I'll tell you what. So I'm gonna play open 8 times. And then I'm gonna put my finger down on the 7th fret on those strings, play that 8 times. Sounds cool, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide down to my 5th fret and I'm gonna play that 8 times. And then I'm gonna let my hand off and do open again, 8 times. Here's the cool thing about this. Once you are a little bit comfortable with that, you can do it faster, and the goal is to do it without stopping. You want your strumming hand, whatever, if it's right hand, your right hand if you're right-handed, your left hand if you're left-handed, whatever hand you're strumming the strings with. You want to keep that hand moving without stopping when you change to your new chord. So that would sound like this. Open, 7th fret, right? Piece of cake. So the goal is to get to that, to where you can do it without stopping. So if you need to pause, practice that, repeat that, that's cool. Usually with students, we'll run through that a few times and just get them comfortable doing that. Now here's the thing. What I just taught you is most of the Middle by Jimmy Eat World, which is a great song, and I've done a video on it. If you want to go check out the video on how to play The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, if you can play that without stopping, all you have to do is repeat that chord progression. And that is 90% of the song. There's only one other chord progression that you'll have to learn. So I will put a link at the end of the video so that you can go learn how to play The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. So when you're playing that in a song, what you're gonna have to do is repeat it. So you're gonna play open, and then your 7th fret, and then your 5th fret, and then open, and then repeat it. So that means you're gonna play open 8 more times again, and then your 7th fret, and then your 5th fret, and then open again. And so it all repeats, okay? And once you can repeat that, once you can just repeat that and play that over and over, it makes playing music a whole lot easier. So normally in a student's first lesson, what I will do is we'll walk through the entire song of how to play the middle. And we'll play along with the song because it's so much more fun when you can play along with the song. And that helps you really feel like a rock star. Now, if things are really cooking and somebody is really picking up on this really fast, there's another thing that I like to show them as well. And that is how you can take these chords that we're playing, these power chords, and you can use them to write your own music. So for example, once you're comfortable and you can play this, the cool thing about these power chords is you can really play these at any fret on the guitar. So you can play it at your 1st, 2nd, just all the way up to that. And so what I like to do is I like to tell students, okay, check this out. We're gonna take your open chord, your 2nd fret, your 4th fret, your 5th fret, your 7th fret, your 9th fret, your 10th fret, and your 12th fret, which most of the time we just play open instead of 12 because they are the exact same chord. One's just higher. But once we have those frets, open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret, okay, you get to pick. What I want you to do right now is I want you to pick 4 numbers, 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, okay, representing the frets on your guitar. And if you need to practice like running through that and go, okay, 0, here's my 2nd fret, going up, here's my 4th fret, here's my 5th fret, here's my 7th fret, here's my 9th fret, here's my 10th fret, right? If you need to practice that for a minute, that's cool. Because here's what I want you to do. Once you are comfortable with where those are, what we're gonna do is you're gonna pick 4 numbers and you can just write these down. So for example, let's say that you pick open and 9 and 5 and 7. Let's do that for now, right? So we're gonna do open, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow the exact same pattern that we established with that chord progression from the middle, where I just played each chord 8 times, right? 8 times, that's all we need. And then I'm gonna change to the next chord. So for example, I would write down 0, 9, and then 5 and 7. And then when you go to play it, it's the same thing. You want to play it smooth. You want to not have to stop as you change. You might stop the first time or 2 that you do it, but that's okay. But if we do that, it'll sound like this. And essentially what you just did by doing that is you can write your own music. Isn't that cool? Now this is one thing that most people totally skip in the beginning, is getting creative with the stuff that they learn. And I think that that is a huge failing point of a lot of methods and books and different stuff like that. And so in the very first lesson, something that you can do is start getting creative and being able to write music by using these drop D power chords. Not only can you play a real song, like playing The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, or tons of other songs. I've taught so many students how to play songs just using these drop D power chords because it's so simple. But you can start to create your own music and be creative and make something of your own as well. So take those numbers of open, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 12, and try different combinations of trying different stuff out. Pick 3 numbers and see how they sound. Pick 4 numbers, see how they sound. And then you can decide, do I like how that sounds, or do I not like how that sounds? Or I liked most of it, but I didn't like this one chord. Then change it, right? That's the cool thing about it. I want you to be able to start being creative and writing music. So guys, these are the things that I like to teach beginners in their very first lesson. We do drop D tuning. We play power chords. We learn how to play The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. And then if things are going really super cool, then we start doing some songwriting with these same power chords and showing you how you can actually be a songwriter from day one. You don't have to wait to learn thousands of chords and do all this different stuff. You have the tools right now that you need to start writing music. All I need to do is give you a few simple positions on the fretboard that you can play these power chords at. So if you're brand new to guitar and you're just getting started, I hope that this was very helpful for you. I hope that this is something that really helps you out. Now, if you want to get even more, I highly recommend that you go check out the video on how to play The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. We went over the majority of it in here, but in this video, we walk through the entire song. So we're going through each section of the song, how it's all put together, and the other chord progression, and we play along with the song. So there's all sorts of stuff for you to do. So have an awesome day. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that fun stuff. It's always great to try to help you guys out to make guitar simple, and I love making these videos for you. So have an awesome day. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you over in this video of how to play The Middle by Jimmy Eat World.